Okay, so you've decided to take the plunge and buy property in New York City. First of all, congratulations. Owning real estate in New York City can be a wonderful investment. So you've committed to the process. You've saved enough for your down payment and the closing cost on a purchase. You did, right? So the question is, what's next? Well, buying a house in New York City is always complex, and sometimes it can be a confusing and frustrating process. That's why you need a good realtor. You need someone who's experienced and will be on your side and help walk you through the process. You really need somebody who's going to represent you and only you in the complex and life-changing financial transactions that lie ahead. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the 10 steps to buying a home in New York City. I'm hoping that I can demystify the process and give you some confidence to guide you through the journey. So before we get started, press that subscribe button and press that notification bell. You know, I'm putting out videos like this once a week on the very basics of real estate and finance. If you have a question, you can leave it in the comments below or just tell me what a great job I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna dive right in because there's a lot to cover. These are the basic, condensed steps to buying a home in New York City. Remember, I'm a realtor and I would be happy to help you personally on your home buying process. Did you know that realtors' commissions are almost always paid by the seller on real estate transactions in New York City? You're going to need somebody to represent you in this transaction, and I would be happy to be that person. Feel free to give me a call. Okay, here we go. Number one, calculate your budget. Do you have cash on hand, or will you need financing to purchase the property? If you're gonna need a loan, you should go to a banker right away to get a pre-qualification. The bank is gonna analyze your finances and tell you how much of a mortgage you can afford. They're also gonna give you a pre-qualification letter, which is gonna help you when it comes time to making an offer. Your realtor should be able to recommend a bank to pre-qualify you. I have established relationships with several very reputable mortgage banks and mortgage brokers in New York City. Okay, number two is familiarize yourself with the market and learn the terms. Most likely in New York City, you're going to be buying an apartment, and that apartment is going to be in a building that's either a cooperative or a condominium. These are two very different situations, so you're going to need to know the difference and know which one you prefer. I'm going to be doing a full episode on the differences between condos and co-ops, but I'm going to try to give you the very basics right now. Legally, there are two different types of properties. Condos are real property. You can own them outright. In co-ops, on the other hand, you end up owning an ownership stake in a corporation that owns the property plus a proprietary lease on your apartment. Your apartment would be considered personal property as opposed to real property. Generally, and these are very general rules because there's always exceptions, but generally, co-ops are less expensive than condos per square foot. So besides the financial aspects, there's big differences between condos and co-ops when it comes to the restrictions on their use. A co-op board is going to issue bylaws that govern the use of the property. All the co-ops are different, so you, and especially your agent, need to carefully examine the bylaws of any co-op that you're considering buying into. So bottom line, if you're looking for a pied-à-terre, an investment property, or something that you're gonna live in part-time and rent out part-time, you really need to be looking at condos and not co-ops. You should know though that 80% of the housing stock in New York City is co-ops. So if you can deal with the restrictions and the extra approval hurdles, co-ops are a great way to own a home in New York City. Okay, so now you've established your budget and you've educated yourself about the market. Now comes the fun part. Number three is house hunting. You and your agent will work together to find suitable properties in your price range and make arrangements for you to view those properties. So keeping in mind the above mentioned budget factors, it's really helpful to your agent for you to make a list of desirable qualities that you would look for in your potential home. Everyone is different, so it's very helpful to the agent to know your preferences so they can find the perfect home for you. So number four, Once you found a property that you absolutely love, it's time to make an offer. There are many factors that go into an offer, and you should discuss this with your agent. Your potential seller will want to know everything, not just the price you're offering, but how you're going to finance it, are there any contingencies, and how soon you would want to close the transaction. If you're purchasing a co-op or a condo, there's additional information that's going to be needed that's going to affect how attractive your seller views your offer. The seller is naturally going to want to move forward with the offer that has the best chance of closing quickly and at the highest price. So number 5 is negotiation. There might be a negotiation, there might not. Once your offer has been accepted by the seller, it's time to put the property in contract. This is where you and the seller enter into a contract to proceed with the sale of the property at an agreed upon price. With the execution of the contract, there's a monetary deposit required of the buyer, and in return, the seller agrees to take the property off the market and not entertain offers from other potential buyers. The seller's attorney is going to prepare the contract according to the terms you negotiated and submit it to your attorney. Typically, there's a 10% deposit or earnest money due from the buyer once the contract is signed. Okay, number 6 is loan application if you need financing for the purchase, and an appraisal. This is the time when the bank evaluates not only your creditworthiness, but the value of the home that you're going to use to secure the loan. The bank is going to become your partner in the ownership of this home, so they need to evaluate their risk. Once they've done their due diligence, the bank is going to issue a loan commitment letter that's going to allow you and the seller to move forward and schedule a closing. Okay, number 7, and you have to realize some of these steps happen concurrently, but number 7 is preparing a board package. Now your agent helps you with this. The board will need to approve your application for you to be able to close. In New York City with a co-op, there's also a board interview. You need to really treat this very seriously. It's like a job interview. So you need to do this package for a co-op or a condo, but if you're purchasing a new development unit, a board package is not needed. Okay, number 8. We've gotten through the tough stuff. Once you've received the loan commitment letter and the board's approval, you and your seller can schedule a closing. Okay, number 9 is the final walkthrough. This is a physical walkthrough of the apartment that you're purchasing, and this is your chance to confirm that all your contingencies have been taken care of and the apartment is in as-is condition. Okay, number 10 is the closing. This is a formal meeting between all the parties involved in the transaction, the buyer, the seller, the lawyers, and the agents. At the closing, all the final documents will be signed, you will receive the keys, and officially be the owner of your new home. So, those are the steps to buying an apartment in New York City. And once again, every situation is a little bit different. That's why it's really smart to have an experienced and knowledgeable agent help you along in the transaction. If you have any questions about a potential real estate transaction in New York City, feel free to contact me. I'm going to put my phone number and my email address in the description below. Feel free to reach out, give me a call, or shoot me an email. In the meantime, good luck. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.